WW7KC. QSL. This repeater will be used at the top of the hour for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net for about 1 hour. If anyone needs to use this repeater for a contact at QSY or any other priority traffic, please say so now. WW7N. Puget Sound. My name is James, but your federal government often calls me WW7N, Whiskey Uniform 7 November. Tonight I'll be net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. This net meets on this repeater for the audio channel for about 1 hour starting at 8 p.m. Pacific time every Wednesday and every Saturday evening. That time zone is West Coast of the United States. With an amateur radio license is welcome to participate. You can either check in and say hello and check out, or you can join us for the entire net and join in the roundtable conversation. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio operators who takes to the airways with fast scan NTSC analog video. You can find more information about us on the ever helpful internet by searching on Western Washington Amateur Television Society. During this net, you can see the videos we're talking about by looking at the WW7ATS website. Click on streaming. There sometimes is a significant delay with that output. The video output can also be viewed directly on YouTube, but please understand we can't monitor and respond to all the comments real time due to the delay. The video is also transmitted on 1.2 gigahertz on the east side here in Bellevue. And if you're using a narrower band dongle to try and decode that, you can still get a good black and white signal out of it. You may not get the color signal unless you have full NTSC video analog bandwidth. You can see checked in via video, we have Ron, that's KD7QKU. We've got Wade, W7ITL. Have Richard, K7ITX. We've got Bert tonight, N7CS. Bob tonight, K9PQ up at the north end. We do have Lee tonight, probably coming in via Echo Link. and myself. Do we have anyone else joining tonight?
N7QO.
Got you there, N7QO. You're right after Lee in the stack. So certainly do appreciate everyone's participation tonight. Should be a good net with this many people. Let's wrap around to the top. Ron, KD7QKU. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, thank you, James, and good evening, everyone. KD7QKU here. Well, my COVID is getting better. I feel almost human tonight. So anyway, Joanne had a dermatology appointment on Tuesday. So we hadn't tested her, but she said she'd been feeling okay. So she thought maybe she should be tested. So 8 o'clock or so Tuesday morning we tested her, and she tested positive. So I guess she's had COVID all the time. She doesn't seem to show any ill effects. She said she's had a little scratchy throat once or twice, and her nose is running a little bit, but that's about it. Of course, I felt much worse for 3 or 4 days there than she did. But anyway, I haven't tested again, but I don't think there's any need to. So we'll just have to give it some more time. I wish the sun would come out, but I guess that's not going to happen. I'd like to sit in the sun. But anyway, did enjoy the football game. That's about all I guess I have to report for now. Back to net KD7QKU.
Well, best wishes to Joanne. Glad you're feeling better. Next up on the stack, Wade, W7ITL, joining us tonight. Go ahead, Wade.
All right, well, I don't have much to say. I am feeling pretty good. I had a pretty good break. I came back yesterday for being off almost a week to work, and first day just kind of catching up on emails and getting kind of backlog stuff done, and then today I worked on some reports I had to do for some incidents that I was working before my break. So all caught up, feeling pretty awake, but I'm sure I'm going to crash here soon just because all the brain activity I had to do today. So, but it's nice seeing everybody. Ron, sorry to hear you got COVID, and I'm glad that Joanne's not feeling the effects, but she did test positive, so hopefully that will subside and she stops testing positive here in the next week or so you guys can get back to doing normal stuff. Yeah, nice to see Bert back. Yeah, we'll see you again on Saturday, and then you're off doing your stuff again, so I will turn the net back, and I think we're out of sequence a little bit tonight, but I'll turn it back. All right.
Well, if I see you next wrap around, I'll call on you, and if you're not there, I'll assume you're it. That's it for the evening. I'm glad you had a good week off. Richard is next on my stack, K7ITX tonight.
Right. Caught me a little bit off guard, but that's okay. Well, let's see. I won't belabor any of the crazy football news. I think the last time I talked to you guys, I was embroiled with illegal touching. and so, yeah, right. So as far as I can tell, it's going to stick. It's just so unusual to see a game lost. Big giant, all the crowd. I think that's part of the problem. You get 100,000 people in the same place at the same time, and you make a decision, or it appears the decision is made that a certain team has won the game, and then 2 minutes later, you change your mind. Well, you got to be pretty careful. You don't want to cause a riot unless you change your mind in favor of everybody that's sitting in the crowd. So that's pretty smart, if you ask me, if you're going to change your mind. So they changed their minds I guess, avoid a riot, so that's okay. The other one was our beloved University of Washington. They did everything they could, it seemed like, in the last minute and a half to lose the game. And, you know, and the weird part about it is Ron literally predicted to me that they better stop running up the middle. And if that didn't come back to bite them and force University of Washington down to the last second, 1 second, I couldn't believe it. But they, you know, as UW can do, they prevailed, and 1 second or not, but it was weird. I hope they learned their lesson, Ron. That was just crazy. Let's see, what else do I have on my list of gripes? Okay, well, sadly, I would, what a horrible accident in Japan, right on the coattails of their big earthquake, this big Airbus large body plane landing on top of, I guess, their Coast Guard dash plane, and I'd be curious to hear Cunnington Jim's take on a couple things. What's it like to hear Japanese air traffic controllers speaking in English? I heard them tell the Coast Guard what to do, and I couldn't understand them. Warren Brown kind of was able to translate them, but the one thing Warren Brown questioned, which is part of the controversy, I guess, is he didn't, and I didn't hear the air traffic controller tell the Coast Guard plane to stop short. C5, I guess the short runway that leads up to the main runway, C5, they had clearance to go to C5, but they never said stop short. Maybe leading the Coast Guard to think that they had clearance to take off, when in fact they obviously didn't. Without even knowing anything, I thought to myself, why don't they have, like we have in traffic around here? You got red light and green light. It makes sense that they would have that in these serious situations. And, well, evidently they do. Because on the news tonight, I heard one report say that there was maintenance on the red light and green light. So, okay, well, they do maintenance on our traffic lights all the time around here, but I never see them just walk away and pretend that it doesn't matter and it still doesn't work. Well, obviously, I think it's important. So anyway, those are my two questions. Is it really a stoplight for the pilots to know not to go onto the runway? And is it hard to understand the Japanese air traffic controllers when they're speaking English? So that's my wonderment, and maybe we can hear from our resident expert on those two questions. This is K7ITX, back to net control.
ATX WW7N net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Well, those are all good questions, Richard, but in my stack here, Bert, you're up next, and I heard tidbits you might have to be going early, so go ahead, Bert, N7CS.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to see everyone again. Hopefully I'm transmitting okay. Just hooked my radio back up earlier today. I've been out for a while. I think last time we talked it was some Saturday back in early December, and I was flying out to Rome to catch a transatlantic cruise that went to New York. And then from New York, I headed down to Houston and to do a Christmas cruise, and my wife met me for that, and we just got back from that a couple days ago, so I'm here for a week, just kind of doing laundry and stuff. So apparently I cruised so much on Norwegian Cruise Line, they gave me this little gift here. It's not really coming into focus very well, but it's a little, oh, there we go. It's like a lapel pin, and it's like personalized with my name on it. I'm trying to get it in focus, but I don't think it's a little too close to the camera. But yeah, I was surprised when I got home. This was actually in the mail for me, so that was kind of cool. So now I can wear that every time I do a Norwegian cruise. But yeah, and I'll be flying out for some more cruises in a few days, so I'll be doing that again. I'm trying to think what else is going on. Oh yeah, I saw the news about that aircraft in Japan. Yeah, that was crazy. I'm so glad they managed to get everyone out of that A350 so quickly. I'm kind of almost in disbelief they managed to do that. And last I heard, everyone got out safely. I don't know if there's been any update to that since then, but I know the people in the smaller plane didn't fare so well. But yeah, now I only got a few hours of flying in, and I've taken like the private pilot test. I've never taken any of the other tests, but I don't remember reading anything about traffic lights at runway intersections. I don't recall that being a thing, but I didn't get very far in it, so other people probably have a lot more knowledge of me than that. Anyway, this is Bird in Marysville, N7CS. I still remember my call sign. Back to net.
WW7N. Let's go up to the north end. Bob, K9PQ, go ahead.
Well, I'm having to go with backup lighting tonight. My main light started flickering. And, you know, it was one of the cheap variety LEDs. I thought I'd save some money, but it looks like I didn't really save money because it's not working the way it should. Okay, but this is fine. This is my backup. I have a couple of these little portable battery-powered lights, and they do just fine. So let's see. Yeah, Ron, so I missed the last net. It seems like I missed a lot because I didn't know you had COVID, or maybe, I can't remember. I know you had, I think you had been exposed to it, but I didn't know if you'd had it. And yeah, I hope Joanne doesn't get any symptoms. I wish the best for you both. Yeah, the plane crash thing, that's just terrible, and I'll be interested to hear also what Jim has to say about that. Let's see, for me, well, you know, the big thing for me was the Husky game. I mean, just an amazing game, and yeah, they did nearly throw it away at the end. It was, you know, some of it was, I don't know, some of it was bad luck, certainly. The injury was bad luck, which left more time on the clock than they wanted, yeah, the Longhorns just made some plays, and fortunately they didn't make the last play, or we would be singing a different tune tonight. So yeah, Huskies on to the national championship on Monday. I'm very excited about that. Oh, and then I have a new little gadget I picked up, and I'm glad Lee is on tonight, because I want Lee to see this. We discussed some time ago about nickel metal hydride batteries and recharging them and staying on top of it. Let's see if I can get this about the right distance here. This I bought, it's just a little plastic thingy, and all it does is you put batteries up there in the top, and they snake their way down to the bottom, so it's first in, first out. And that's this little gadget. I mean, you would do it any way, really, that would allow me to do first in, first out, but this does a nice job of it. This is what allows me to keep the recharge always in cycle, so I don't leave one too long and not be recharged, because that will kill them eventually if you don't cycle them through. So I'm pretty happy about it. Now I'm using them more than I was, and it was a 2-pack with AAAs and AA's, so I may even get some AAA nickel metal hydride. Okay, back to that K9PQ.
WW7N, that is a cool idea. I like that. Lee, let's bring you in via Echolink, N7KC up in Port Angeles. Go ahead.
Okay, there, I got to push the button finally. I'm okay? Good. All right, well, Happy New Year, you guys. This is the first time I've seen you since the New Year rolled in. So anyway, it's moving right along here. We're on day 3. Okay. Joanne, my gosh, Ron, you know, when you said everybody got COVID, but, am I okay? When you said everybody got COVID, but Joanne, Paul and I both said, what? What? How can that be? Yeah, okay, well anyway, I'm glad she's going to be okay, and it didn't really affect her. That's good. Bert, next time I think they should name a ship after you, for Pete's sake. You know? Name a ship after Bert. I vote for that. Let's see here. Yeah, the plane crash. As I understand it, the Coast Guard plane got clipped by, it must have been the left wing and an engine. So they really hadn't got out on the runway quite yet, as I get it. And had they been on the runway, it's been a whole different story, I think, for all the folks that were in the big plane. As bad enough as it was, but oh my gosh, what a fireball and all that sort of stuff. Well, they obviously land with some fuel. They got to have some fuel. But Jim knows. He always tells about the residual that they have to have estimated on board to make a trip with a big plane like that. So maybe he'll address that. That'll be fun. The game? Well, I didn't. Sorry to say, I didn't see those really good football games. And now that I hear you talk about them, I'm sorry that I didn't. And talk about batteries. I'm telling you, even high-quality Duracell batteries can leak. We had a couple of what are called task lights here. You may have seen them. They take 3 AA's. They're really nice lights. One of them is 100% LED, and the other one had an incandescent in the center and 3 LEDs around it. Well, the one with the incandescent in the center and 3 LEDs, battery leak. I had to use heavy tools to get the cap off the end, and those things were packed in there so tight, they're so safe in that light, so I just pitched it, you know, a task light. Good night. So, word to the wise, you all know it anyway. Don't leave batteries in a prized device. and Covington Jim, good to hear you tonight. This is N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Back to you, James.
Lee, N7KC up in Port Angeles, coming in via Echo Link tonight. There are digital options to join our net too, if anyone else is listening and would like to check in, check out. I see it's 8:20 after the net, so before we bring Jim on N7QO, let me ask, do we have any visitors that would like to just check in and check out, or perhaps join our conversation at this time? If so, come now. Heard. Let's go out to Covington, N7QO. Go ahead, Jim.
N7QO, thank you, Jim. Good evening, everyone. Good to hear from you. Glad we got a good turnout here. Let's see. If anyone's trying to look at the 1.2 picture, my picture is more lousy than usual tonight. It is raining pretty hard here at my house. Maybe some precipitation between here and Cougar Mountain as well. I don't know, but anyway, so much for that. Ron, glad you're getting better. Glad Joanne is not experiencing any terrible symptoms. Sorry she tested positive as well. I think we kind of figured she might. It's kind of difficult when you're married to avoid giving it to or getting it from your spouse, I think. Wade, tired. Yeah, I saw you for a flash there. You looked a little tired on my black and white display here. Good to hear from you anyway. Dick, football, illegal touching. Yeah. Let's see here. UW, well, I'm glad the dogs came through. Having said that, the Wolverines Ohio State's #1 rival. I know that the Wolverines are probably predicted to win that one, but I'll keep my fingers crossed. Extra so because they're Ohio State's rival as well. And let's see. Bert, Christmas cruise with the wife. That's nice. And it was nice that they gave you a medallion. And I am so pleased you remember your call sign. It's good to see you back. Lee, yeah, I've had similar problems with alkaline batteries. I buy Duracell batteries from Costco, and I have one leak on me every now and then. So we have to watch out for that. Okay, Japan. Earthquake. Man, what a bummer. And this crash, I don't know. I heard Juan Brown's video of the air traffic controller there. He was speaking so fast I could not understand what he said, but I don't know where the radio monitor was. Maybe it was easier to understand if you were in the airplane. Typically, I have not had any problems understanding the Japanese controllers. I don't know, I've been in and out of Haneda a number of times, but probably in and out of their big airport, Narita. Oh, I'll bet 1,000 times over the years. On a single trip, I might go in there 3 or 4 times. So that's a lot of months. And I have not really had any problems understanding the Japanese. I don't know how Juan Brown was able to pick out what he did from that. Yeah, there is something about phraseology. It sounded like, according to Juan, it sounded like he said something about go to the hold position at Charlie 5, but he did not clearly say hold short, which would be proper phraseology. There were several things going on there. Let me reset. But typically, if they want you to go onto the runway, it sounded like that was the ground controller to whom he was speaking. But it's not unusual, depending upon the time of day, for a single controller to do everything. But they should have used the words line up and wait. They used to say position and hold on the runway, but probably a decade ago they changed it. They no longer say position and hold, they say line up and wait. And clearly I did not hear that over the air traffic control communications. So I don't know what happened there. Probably a misunderstanding on the part of that crew. But I don't know, before you go on it, well, it depends on how far out he was. I was going to say, you can look out there and see if there's an aircraft coming, or you can look, if the aircraft is equipped with it, you can look and see if there's an aircraft lined up to your runway. But that Japanese turboprop may not have even had that equipment. I don't know for sure. But then if he went into position a significant amount of time before, well, no, because someone even said that he wasn't really completely on the runway. So I don't know why they didn't see this airplane coming if he was in the process of going onto the runway. I don't know what happened there. Also, red lights. Yeah, for probably, I'm going to guess about the last 15 years or so, I have never gone in and out of a major airport anywhere where they have not had, although I'm sure there are some places where they have not had the red runway lights indicating that you're supposed to hold short. I heard something on the news which said those lights were inoperative, so I don't know if these guys got that NOTAM that they were inoperative or what happened, but our procedure is if the lights are illuminated, you are not supposed to go onto the runway even if the air traffic controller tells you to go onto the runway. We're not supposed to cross those red lights. So, and once again, I don't know for sure that they were in that location at that taxiway entering that runway or not. You could probably look at the charts and determine if that was the case, but I did not do so. But then I heard, like I said, on the news that they were inoperative anyway, so I don't know. I'm constantly amazed in aviation. Everything has to go just right, and frequently all it takes is for one person to make a mistake. At least in the cockpit, there are at least a couple of guys at all times, and usually everyone backs everyone up, and if there's any doubt whatsoever, then you verify. But not all cultures are quite like that, and I know for sure that some of the Asian cultures, you don't question the man in charge. I thought they diverged from that several years ago, but have no clue the circumstances of the particular crew, the Japanese crew. But what a tragedy! Glad that everyone got off that Airbus alive, and sorry about the crew. And they were going to help the earthquake people. That's a kind of a double whammy there. Back to you, Jim, N7QO.
WW7ATS in the group. Thank you for that analysis. Ryan, KK7PZX. That's Ryan, Kilo 7, Papa Zulu X-ray. I see you've communicated with us. I wonder if you're listening now. If so, go ahead. Ryan, check your PL tone, 103.5. That's just for the net tonight. I was able to hear you here in Bellevue, but just barely, but not truly intelligible. Try again or move closer to a window. Hey, how's that coming through? That was intelligible. Go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Hi there, yeah, my name's Ryan. I'm in Buckley, Washington. New to ham, just got my general license just last week, and have a nice little ATG radio here and listening in. I work at Takar Parts, data scientist, and gosh, what else? I've got 2 kids, a wife, 4 dogs. We have lots of fun around here.
Ryan, well, good to hear you. I got that you worked at PACCAR and you're a data scientist, so that sounds interesting. Well, I'll put you in the stack then when next time we wrap around and go round table. After myself, it'll be Ron, and then we go through everybody else and then come down to you. Again, if you would like, or if you just wanted to check in and check out, did you want to join our conversation tonight, or did you want to just check in and check out?
I'll just listen in and I'll join you guys the next round.
I'll add you to the stack. Well, let's see. The 1.2 gigahertz report, right now, got a good strong signal with a color signal, but throughout the last 40 minutes, it has really been coming and going. Right now, I get extreme signal interruption. That's usually indicative of weather happening up there on Cougar Mountain. Something's getting blown around up there because it's not a stable signal, but it is good when it comes in. That's the 1.2 gigahertz report for anyone who is trying to decode that tonight. Might be a bit of a challenge. Amazing thing about that Japanese accident, I mean, it's a shame. I guess they did lose 5 Coast Guard crew, but I just don't understand. The captain of the Dash 8 apparently got out somehow, but with injuries, but they got every single person off that Airbus, and they got them all out, one hatch in the front of the aircraft when the airplane was on fire. There's video of people, pointing their phones out the window, and you can clearly see that's burning. That is definitely flames. It's not just smoking, it's burning. And I think only in Japan you could accomplish that, because they said that some people were trying to reach for their belongings, and the flight attendant said, no, leave everything behind. We'll come back it later. And I can just imagine that interchange. Oh, thank you so much. You're very welcome. Now get your ass off the plane. So I think that's just absolutely amazing, and I would love to see if there's other additional video that comes out. I want to see how they managed to get to do that. They got everybody out the slide, one slide on the front of the aircraft, and that is a huge aircraft and a lot of people, and they did it in a very, very short period of time. What can I say about illegal touching? I think that the call that everyone fears after the, inappropriate touching is the don't make me pull this car over call, which comes next, I think. Or maybe don't make me turn this car around. I don't know. You have to be in a large family in a small car to appreciate that humor, I guess. Well, let's see. What did I get done today? Well, a lot of mundane stuff, but I thought everyone was going to laugh out of this. I apparently have a repetitive stress injury on my right elbow, get this, from using the mouse. Yes, 3 years of COVID mouse use has left me, no, it's not a finger, it's higher up. It's in my armpit. So I think I'm going to have to go to a physical therapist. Apparently, I've got, from what I see on the internet, it's not uncommon. People just have been parked in front of their computers for 3 years, and so if you extend your arm out and leave it there like that for a long period of time, I guess it inflames a tendon in there. But I think that's just funny. I had to laugh at myself. Put around to the top, the stack, Ron, KD7QKU. Go ahead.
Thank you, KD7QKU here. Well, thank to everybody for their good thoughts, and we are recovering, and I think a few more days I'll be back to normal. And I'm just gonna kind of listen out here. I don't have much to add, I'm sorry. KD7QKU.
Understand and appreciate you being here tonight. Hope you're feeling better and continuing the trend of improvement. Wade, are you still with us tonight? If so, you can go ahead and take that mic.
Let me just get my notes here so I can make some comments. I'm going to probably 73 after this round. Let's see. Ron, hopefully you get better, like I said, and we'll see you again, hopefully here soon. And then Lee, make sure you careful about what batteries you put in your good things, and all batteries do leak. Yeah, the plane crash. That's just horrible. I heard a little bit about it. I don't watch the news very often, so I heard it third party from my wife. I didn't hear all the details though, so it's good everybody got off the Airbus, but it's unfortunate. It sounds like maybe the folks in the smaller plane, the Coast Guard plane, didn't get off. Let's see. Traffic control, Jim. Not understanding not being able to. You haven't had any problems with understanding them. That's good. Let's see. It's nice to see hear a new hymn. Welcome to the net, KK7PEX. I didn't write your name down, but sound like an interesting guy and data scientist. You'll have to tell us more about what that is. I kind of know what that is. And you're working at Pat Car. I've heard it's a good place to work. That's pretty much it, I think. I will turn it back to James, W7ITL.
W7ITL, this is James, WU7N. We'll take that as your 73 round. Richard, K7ITX in Kent, go ahead.
Our guest, and hopefully he'll be more than a guest, and that's Ryan, I think is his first name. So yeah, no, it's great to have a new body to talk to and join the group. We all have a good time, and our topics vary from one end of the sun to the other. So it's pretty wide open, and I've learned a lot from all the professionals here. So your work with data will be greatly appreciated to hear some of your stories, that's for sure. I think we all have some kind of war story here and there amongst us. We've got some veterans and project managers and myself in construction. So yeah, we have a lot of fun. So Ryan, thanks for showing up tonight. We hope we hear a lot more from you. Let's see. Oh yeah, thanks a lot, Covington Jim, for your analysis of everything that you had to say. It was very much appreciated, particularly for me, because I just love following all these different things. And yeah, Ron, yeah, it's good to hear that you're getting a little better, and best wishes to Joanne as well. And Bert, my God, yeah, no, I didn't. If I don't say hi to you, I'm really out of it. So greetings, Bert. Man, I feel, because we kind of joined the group at the same time, so I feel like, you're my blood brother, so don't make yourself so scarce. I do miss you a lot. And let's see, and I don't know who mentioned the flight attendants, but might have been James, I'm not sure, but oh my God, I always thought a lot of the flight attendants, and I always felt a little bit of, I don't want to call it anger, but just not very happy, maybe some animosity towards passengers that don't give them the respect they're due, and even passengers that misbehave and actually don't show the kind of responsibility you would expect, particularly if your life depended on them. And so, as much as I don't like all the security precautions that we go through now ever since 9/11, particularly TSA, because, there was a time I remember just, running down the gateways to jump on a plane literally minutes before it takes off. I mean, I did that a lot, especially flying to Boise for work. It got to be kind of, now, TSA is kind of a headache, but, boy, I think they serve a good purpose whether I like them or not. And if it involves keeping the riff-raff to a low level, I really appreciate that with TSA, and I do appreciate the ticket takers and the flight controllers or flight attendants when they see someone that really shouldn't be on that plane. And I really hope they continue to kind of put their foot down and keep people like that off at times that don't have the responsibility that you would expect from good passengers. So Yeah, no, I had to get that off my chest, because I think it's really critical, and boy, what is it, 375 people got off that plane in, 90 seconds or whatever it is. It's just unbelievable, but that's, that's the culture, and that's good flight, that's the good flight attendants. So, all right, with that, K7ITX, back to net control.
TX Richard, this is WW7N, net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. We picked up Ryan, which we'll get to you, and just a couple more people. Is there anybody else who would like to either check in or check out or join our conversation? Anyone with an amateur radio license, either from the FCC or the Canadian Department of Industry, is welcome. Go ahead. Up in the stack is Bert, N7CS. Go ahead, Bert.
Well, hello again, everybody, and man, every time I see my shack in the video, I remind myself I need to really clean this room up. It looks so bad. But yeah, what else has been going on? I saw in Jim Andrews' recent ATV newsletter, he mentioned a project that the European hams have started a study about putting up a second geostationary satellite that could do ATV over Europe. But they mentioned that they may want to put it in a slightly different position so that North America could potentially also hit this satellite. Although I imagine if it can be hit by Europe, it's probably only going to be like the eastern part of the U.S. that would get it. I can't imagine how we would get it here, but maybe there's some magic there. But I mean, it's still just a study. I don't even think they have like a partner to partner with a satellite or anything. But it's like a 250,000 euro study. So they do have some chunk of money allocated to do it. But they're talking about like I think 5 gigahertz uplink, 10 gigahertz downlink for the ATV signal. Yeah, so this will probably be something to watch in the coming years to see if anything comes out of that. But that's probably about it for now. This is Bert and Marysville and 7CS. Back to net.
N7CS up in Marysville, WU7N. Well, next in the stack is Bob up there at the north end. Go ahead, Bob.
Again, and hello to Ryan. Nice of you to join us tonight, and hope you stick around. Well, let's see. Yeah, I have a few things here. First of all, the newsletter. The newsletter before, the one prior to the one you're discussing, there was actually very big news regarding a subject we were going to talk about this Saturday, and that is the 1.2 gigahertz band. It looks like they've come to an agreement. I'm not sure if it's finalized. It's so hard to tell with these international bodies if they finalized it or if it's like just to the next step, but it looks good right now. It did look very bad. It looked like we were going to lose a good chunk of our band, including what we need to operate, and it looks like that's now not going to happen, so I'm very excited about that. Let's see, yeah, post 9/11 security. I have an interesting experience with that one. I already had a trip to Brazil planned in late 01, in 11 of 01, and so right after 9/11 happened, fortunately they very quickly resumed operations again, and what a lot of people don't know is it took them a while. It's the federal government after all. It took them some time to decide what their rules were really going to be, so it was actually less of an issue for me to travel internationally to South America than say 6 months later. So I kind of got lucky that it was within that first month and a half or so after it happened. It was not nearly as bad as it became later. So that one worked out okay for me. Let's see, Jim, thank you so much for the analysis. As everyone else said, it's great to hear that from someone who's been there, and interesting to know, because I was really curious. Interesting to know that you didn't have problems with understanding the Japanese air traffic control. In hindsight, I'm not surprised. It would have to be the case, right? They've got to be. People have to be able to understand them. So That's interesting. Let me break. And something else. The picture you're seeing when Jim N7QO is talking is a picture I took from the ridge above sunrise of Mount Rainier. It's one of my favorite places to go, and looking forward to getting back there this year. What else? I had one other thing. Oh, the illegal touching. Richard, I'm going to have to talk with you about that maybe after the net, because all the different things that have been going on with referees this year, that's one I did not hear about, and it must have been on the last net you discussed it, and I wasn't here. So I guess that's it. I'll send it back, K9PQ and 73.
PQ, WW7 in the group. Thank you, Bob. Lee, up in Port Angeles, coming in on Echo Link. Go ahead.
Okay, we'll try it again. How we doing? Take it in? Okay, thank you. Well, it's Lee in 7KC in Port Angeles. Okay, well, Ryan, welcome to you, and congratulations on your amateur license. It's something you'll never regret. That's my prediction. And Covington Jim, thank you very much. I found that fascinating to hear you talk about your 1,000+ landings in Japan. So that was good. I think I know how they got the people off the plane so fast. When I was in Japan in late 1959, early 1960, they had professional people on train platforms called pushers. And when the train doors would open and they were to load the train, these people just simply got behind them and gave them a push. Now, I'm betting you those flight attendants lined up in that plane and they just started pushing. And to get everybody out of there. That was a panic in there, so there was a lot of pushing on somebody's part. And James, regarding your sore arm, the idea is to move the mouse, not the table under it. This is N7KC in Port Angeles. Back to you, James.
Angeles, thank you very much. N7QO, Jim in Covington, are you there?
N7QO, thank you, Jim. Yeah, Jim, I think I agree with you only in Japan. And I saw, they said something about 3 exits, and I saw the nose wheel was either collapsed or broken off on that airplane, so the airplane was tilted nose down on the ground, and they had the slides, both door 1 forward slides were deployed. So those 2 slides were deployed, and I saw somewhere on the news they said there was a 3rd slide that was deployed, but I didn't see or hear where it was. But yeah, to go along, Lee, thanks for mentioning about the pushers. Yeah, I've been in a Japan where, they've got pushers. All these people, white gloves, they kind of push you in there. Hope you don't get offended by touching other people. But with the aircraft kind of nose down, I would bet there's this natural flow of things. People, even if it's like a 15-degree attitude, it's amazing how much force that would make you inclined to go down. So everyone was pretty much rushing toward the front of the aircraft to escape. But someone who said it, yeah, they're absolutely right. In America, everyone would be trying to get their luggage, where in Japan, probably only a couple of people were trying to get their luggage, and the flight attendants were right on that. In most cases, they really do a good job. And Jim, 3 years, mouse shoulder, Oh, sorry about that. Oh well. Let's see, Bert. Geostationary satellite. You know, I think that would be a great idea. I'd be willing to throw in a couple bucks as a contribution. You know, throw in a few euros to help them out on that. If they just needed some money, as long as we could use it somehow. Although you're probably right, it might be more like the East Coast that would get to use that. And Bob, thanks for mentioning about the 1.2 gigahertz band. Yeah, if I interpreted it correctly, I thought we were going to get to keep our segment of the 1.2 gigahertz as well, so I was pleased to hear that. Back to you, Jim, and 7QO.
WW7N. Thank you for that. Ryan, are you on the air again? Kilo 7, Papa Zebra X-ray. You'll need to try again. I heard a squelch break here in Bellevue on the output side of the repeater, but nothing else. Go ahead, try again. Ryan, we're definitely getting squelch breaks, but we're not getting you on the 2-meter output side of the repeater. Once again, the tone just for this net only on Wednesday at 8 p.m. and Saturday at 8 p.m. is 103.5. You can also come in via Echo Link, but that also actually takes a little practice and skill. You might want to practice with that if you want to try it that way. Also, better antenna certainly does help. I find that's the secret here is just better and better antennas, and it just works better and better. So I'm going to move on, if that's okay. I see we've got about 6 minutes left. Again, Ryan, you want to try one more time?
I'll try one more time. How's that? Can you hear me coming through?
Appreciate it. Try one more time. How's that? We got it. Go ahead.
All right. So yeah, Brian, Kilo 7, Papa Zulu X-ray. I can't believe everyone made it out of that plane. Absolutely incredible. Very interesting about the geostationary satellite, and I'll certainly practice on Echo Link and looking at a better antenna. Kilo 7, Papa Zulu X-ray. I'll hand it back.
Well, thank you very much. Also, you might want to be aware that your radio may be optioned to create a courtesy tone at the end when your finger comes off the push-to-talk microphone, so you might want to check that too. Right now we hear that little dee-dee, and I think that's being generated from your radio, is my guess. So you might want to check that optioning as well. And welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I hope you'll join us again. We'll be here again Wednesday at 8 p.m. Western time, West Coast time, USA. Look, we've certainly, this is a typical WW7ATS net. Oh, and Bob, yes, thank you so much for mentioning that. It does appear that we're not going to lose the entire 1.2 gigahertz band, but I don't know. I mean, you know, it'll probably get to the point where every single nation will want to put up their own navigational system, which none of us should complain about. It just means our little, all of our gadgets will just work better and better as we get more and more data from exactly where we're at. The Chinese system is really impressive. I did some reading on that. They learned from everyone else, and they corrected, and they have really got a system that is pretty amazing. I believe it uses one geostationary satellite, not just the low Earth orbit satellites. But it's very good news. I find that newsletter very interesting as well. That's where I got my pointer to those little DC to DC converter boards. He pointed those out. And so that actually was very interesting, that whole journey. And I got to know a Japanese engineer that speaks Japanese on YouTube who's made a video that's subtitled in Russian and voiced over in English about those little DC to DC converter boards. He's done some just superb work with them. Isn't it an amazing world we live in? So there's certainly a lot of interest in amateur radio worldwide right now. I see we've got just a couple more minutes to the top of the hour, so let me just open the net up to see, does anyone have anything else they'd like to say before we close up the net tonight?
I do, Jim.
ITX, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention, Ryan, that Echolink is a good option. However, you need to know what the Echolink call sign is. And so when you're searching around to talk to us on Echolink, look for K7QJ-R. Does that sound right, you guys? Okay, yeah. K7QJ-R. That's the call sign you want to log into to give us a call. So, and you'll come in. That's how Lee in Port Angeles calls in all the time, and he sounds just great, and at least that would get you in real clear, Ryan. So thanks again for showing up. So that's all I have. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, good point. Thank you very much for that. I think that's on our website too. So does anyone else have anything as we wind this net down for a Saturday evening? A Wednesday evening, sorry about that.
Yes, I do.
Oh, go ahead.
Just a thought. Thank you, Jim, for mentioning about the tone there. I think it may be possible that, Ryan, you may be coming in on a different repeater, and it's simulcasting over this. We are all using the 147.08 repeater. It may be tied into another repeater. Anyway, 147.08 on Cougar Mountain is what we are using. Back to you, Jim, N7QO.
And that is, of course, with a positive offset, North American standard offset for 2 meters. So, well, with that, I think we're down to the last minute, so I'm going to say my name is James, Whiskey Uniform 7 November, with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. I'd like to thank the owners and operators of this repeater for letting us use the repeater for our net twice a week. Again, that's 8 p.m., that's 2000 hours local time, West Coast, United States. On Wednesdays and Saturdays, we use the 147.080, and only for the net, we use the 103.8 PL tone. The rest of the time, it's the regular PL tone for that repeater. So with that, I'm going to say thank you, everyone, for participating, and good night.